What's up guys, it's Bree and I'm back with another video, and today I'm doing the weekly watch list 2 second episode. So if you're interested, stay tuned to what I've been watching. It's not as long as last week, but I got a lot of good stuff, y'all. A lot of good stuff. So go ahead and watch the stuff and come on.
Alright, they asking for the queen. I'm a bad bitch, she's a savage. Look back while I twerk. No comparison.
Alright y'all, I'm back again with my notebook. As you can see, I wrote down my list, and like I said, this week it was not as much stuff. A lot of my usuals didn't really play this week. What are my usuals? Abbott Elementary, that didn't come on today. This week, I mean, 911, we're done with that. Did I talk about that last week? No, I didn't. Found, that did come on. Bob Hart's Abishola, I finished that this week. And not as much interesting, I guess, stuff on YouTube, but we're going to jump into YouTube first. Alright, so with YouTube, like I said, I watched that primarily, so I was talking about things last week that kind of sparked my interest, but I watched a lot of that stuff regularly. Now that Jokes on You pod is back, I'm listening to that weekly. Make sure you guys listen to their podcast, watch the videos. Jessie Woo, she, posts regularly throughout the week, stuff like that. But something I did see this week that I was very excited to see. Now, this actually came up maybe like 2 weeks ago, so I'm late on it. But Dusk Till Sean, he is a creator I found maybe like 2 months ago in like December of 2024, and he does a lot of deep dives on a lot of like our millennial childhood content and shows and whatnot. And I really like his channel, which was another person who kind of like made me want to do this, you know what I mean? So Dusk Till Sean, he has a series of videos where he deep dives through a lot of different stuff, but one of his major ones that really got me hooked was the dark side of Hey Arnold. He really kind of talks about like the morbid stuff, things that it was done in a childlike way, but this is what they were actually talking about, and he kind of did that with every character on the program. So one that I have been looking forward to is Gerald, and he put that one out 2 hours long, so I love that. And he really kind of went through a lot of that. The only thing I thought about was, I get what he was doing, like with the episodes he chose to highlight. However, I feel like he could have chosen a few different ones, or a few that could have also kind of like told a different story, I guess. Like when he and Arnold decided to not do the play where they were like fruit and they were like going all over town and all that kind of stuff. They could have used that example. Or it was another one. Alright, so I think the one I was thinking about was the watch one, and he did include that one, but it was one, I remember there was one where it was something more so like with his little sister, something like her wanting to be around them all the time, something like that. It was one of those. But in watching his review, because he only really kind of like went in on, I think, like 3 or 4 episodes that focused on Gerald, I feel like it makes you think, like, I wish they would have had more stuff about Gerald, like more things that they would have touched on, like his relationship with his parents. I feel like both his parents aren't really as like checked in as they could be, and I could see that just based off of the ones that he kind of detailed. But go ahead and watch it for yourself, and if you have your own favorite character, he has them on all the characters, and if he doesn't have it up yet, trust me, it is coming, so definitely stay tuned for that. And then also Taste. It is Coco Jones' newest single. I don't know if it's going to be like a single, but she definitely put out a new song, probably for Valentine's Day, probably just for love things. I feel like love music, like love songs, are really like her genre right now, like her feel. So I saw this because I saw like a background clip on Instagram the other day where she was like learning the routine. And I was like, can y'all please make this into a meme, because this girl has looks for days. Like, she is a natural character. She definitely reminds me of like Keke Palmer, where it's just like, I'm never not ready. Like, even though this isn't what I was trying to give, it gave something. But I saw the music video. I really enjoyed it. I was not surprised to not see that dance move in the video, but really, really good. I like Coco. I think she's beautiful. I think she sounds really, really good. I like her music videos also. And this one was one of the first ones that I didn't really see like a story being told. I feel like even though it's not like a cut and dry, this is the plot, these are the characters, this is what's happening. I feel like most of her stuff does have kind of like you can kind of follow what's going on. And in this one, I didn't, like, that wasn't happening, but I still enjoyed it. And I peeped that mirror box. That's the same one that Chloe and Halle used in their video for Do It. I think that was the song. Yeah, so I like it. Shout out to her. But that was all on YouTube, this week, guys. Nothing really interesting. I mean, unless there's something that I don't know about. But this week wasn't really that much. So let's go on over to the TV because there was a lot there. Alright, so for the TV, I thought about something, and I didn't mention it last week. I realized it when I was taking my notes, obviously. There's a show on Amazon Prime. It's called Clean Slate. It is starring Laverne Cox, and she basically is playing a woman who is coming home to her Alabama home to her father. Her mother has passed away, and she is trans. So, and mind you, that Laverne Cox in real life is trans, but her character obviously is also trans. And basically comes home to kind of like clear the air with her father, kind of make amends, and kind of just like battle some of like her childhood traumas, I'm guessing. And it is an 8-episode show, 1 season only. It was pretty good. I wasn't sure what to expect really, because I feel like ever since I don't even know when exactly. I feel like I'm gonna say 2016, but I'm not really sure of the exact when time. But I feel like in 2016 we really started to get a lot of like pushes of the LGBTQ in the media, like, or just in the media, in the public period, like, oh, pride this, make sure you're showing this. But I feel like in the way that it happens in TV, it was more so like pushing it, but not in a positive way, not negative, but it was like, this character's gonna be gay. And it's like, they were trying to use gay as a part of their personality. And it's like, that's what I didn't like personally. Like, I feel like if you're gonna make a character gay, it's like, this person can be gay, but who cares? How are they important to the story, to the show, to the character? And it's like, if they're gay, I need to see layers of that. It's like, okay, they're gay, so what? But it's like, I need to see layers. So in this program, what I liked about it is, even though that is the purpose of the show, it's weird because it seems like nobody cares except for Laverne Cox's character and the pastor, of course, but nobody else seems to really care. And it's weird because she's supposed to be coming home, and it's like, she's been gone for like 20 years. Dad thinks obviously that he's still a son, so it's just kind of like, okay. And she's like, oh, I wasn't sure if I can come out to my dad. I don't know if he's gonna take it like this. Dad basically took it fine. Like, he was kind of like, just kind of surprised. Okay, so what am, like, I don't know about all these pronoun changes. Like, what happened here? Like, and mind you, it seems like the dad didn't even know that the son, when he was at the house, the son was even gay. So it's like, this is a surprise. It was just like, one day you were gone, and it's like, oh, I didn't know if I could come back to my dad, and the way he would always make little comments, this. They had an example of a comment where he was talking about, do you know what you said about cousin Randy or whatever? And the dad like, I said he got a little sugar in his tank. Yes, a little sugar in his tank. Now, how could I have came home to something like that? Now, I don't know if it's just because I'm not gay, obviously, but I feel like that's more of a black thing than anything. And if that's the worst example that you could have gave that made you that scared to come home, I'm just like, girl, did you even know your dad? And I feel like as the episodes go on, it seems to me like, no, you did not know who your dad was. And the dad didn't know because you didn't tell him because of who you thought that he was. And it's like, if the dad was as bad of a person as she was trying to proclaim him to be and was the root of her, like, fear to come home, it's like all of that had been gone in the 20 years time, you know? And I feel like if you were as bad as that, you would have like made little slick comments, wouldn't have been accepting, all that kind of stuff. Even to the fact that the neighbor, who was the best friend, they grew up together, all that kind of stuff, even he thought that the dad was not going to be able to take it. And it's like, you still live here. What? And it's like, to me, I'm like, maybe it's because it's the first season, I don't know. But it's like, I feel like also because they're trying to push the, you know, LGBT, like all the acceptance or whatever, I feel like because of that, and people don't want to be canceled, and people, a lot of these younger people like Gen Z and stuff like that, who starting to have opinions about this stuff, it's like they make comments like, oh my God, they weren't progressive, how dare they say that, da 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 da. It's a character. If this character is supposed to be as homophobic as you're trying to explain it to me, they need to be doing some homophobic stuff. And it's like, if they're not, it now makes it seem like the protagonist, Laverne Cox's character, is a liar or someone who doesn't understand what was happening. And it's like two things could be happening at the same time. I feel like that could have been happening where, oh, I didn't understand. We had two different perspectives on what's happening. But also the dad could be homophobic. And there could be more going on than just that comment that was allegedly made a long, long time ago. Because literally in the whole thing, nobody's rude, disrespectful at all in any kind of way except the pastor. And he's a pastor. Honestly, the dad stands up for Laverne in the very first episode. Fights for her. So it's like, I like the show. I do. I feel like the only person who honestly was getting on my nerves was Laverne Cox. And it wasn't even for, like, you know, being trans or whatever. It was for, like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, you know, but it kind of just reminds me of, like, when a teenager, when, like, kids, you know, grow up and they had these kind of things happen throughout their life and they become OMG. So, basically, when teenagers and their parents kind of, like, talk about stuff, or when they become adults and talk about stuff in adulthood, and they talk about, like, you know, and the parents and the kids talk about things that happened in their childhood, the parent could not even remember what was happening, or when they do, it's like they didn't view the situation that way. The kid did in the moment as one thing, as a teenager as another, as an adult another thing. When they confront them, they don't understand what each other's talking about because they have different perspectives. And then when the child becomes the parent, then it's like just a whole different ways on how you view a situation. And that to me is what the show comes off like, though. But it is very lighthearted. It's nice and refreshing. And I feel like it could also be a family show. Like, if I had regular TV, I could imagine this being on regular TV, like a regular little show you just kind of turn on. So I did enjoy it. Yeah, I hope there will be more. Like, I hope we get another season out of this. But something I did wonder when I was watching this, because Laverne Cox honestly looks great. Like, she looks way different than when I first saw her in Orange is the New Black. I don't know the process of her, like, transitioning or whatever. I don't know anything about that. I honestly don't care that much. But, like, you know, she's lost a lot of weight. She looks great. Looking tea. And it's like, I'm like, whenever I've seen her in things, she always plays a trans character. And it's like, especially like with the way she used to look, I can kind of see how with her having more weight on her, she did look more masculine. However, now she definitely is very soft and all that kind of stuff. And I'm wondering, like, have you ever played just a female character? Like, just been a female? Because, like, I feel like if the character doesn't call for you to know this sexuality, because I feel like there are programs, shows, movies, or whatever, where it really doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Or even if you do have, like, sex in the show at some point, who cares? It's not real sex, obviously. And it's like, you don't have to show that much. It's like, can't you just play a real woman? Because who cares? But, like, I be wondering that. Like, have she ever played it? Now, I personally don't know, but let me know if you know of any roles that she has played in where she is just a full-blown woman. Yeah, so let's go ahead to School Spirits. Now, School Spirits, y'all, let me tell you this. I'm so mad that I found out that School Spirits was on before, like, I really got, like, before there was enough episodes, because now I hate having to wait each week, because School Spirits, y'all, they done kidnapped Janet, y'all. Them kids done kidnapped that girl, took her out to the woods. Now, they did take her to the school originally, but apparently she was screaming bloody murder, as she should, because she's a kidnap victim. She was screaming bloody murder, and the school was getting prepared for the class of 84's high school reunion, which is the class Wally would have been in if he did not pass that fall. So this is one of his favorite times. He loves when that happens, obviously, because he sees his old friends, even though they can't see him. He dances, all that kind of stuff. He even made up a line dance type of thing to do every year. I really like that the group has kind of added more people with Johan, that's the guy from the pottery room, and Quinn, the Asian girl in the band. Now, the funny thing is, I felt like Quinn was her name last time, but I didn't want to jinx it, because I was like, I don't think so, because I have a friend named Quinn, and I had just kind of talked to her, so that was in my mind. So I was like, dang, I wonder if that's her name. And it is. Quinn is her name. So I like that everybody kind of has somebody. Wally has Maddie, Charlie has Johan, and Rhonda has Quinn. So I think that's cute. But in kidnapping Janet, they are basically trying to convince her to come to the school without acting crazy, and she would rather kill herself than go to that school, which we pretty much already knew. She'll kill anybody. She'll kill all of them, to be honest, before she goes to that school again. So I understand that, but they also know that Mr. Martin is out there somewhere. The regular people do, and she's trying to figure out how they even know any of this stuff, because they like believe her, but they don't believe her. Like, how do you even know about this? And Simon tells her, like, Maddie, the girl who you took her body, she's at that school. I don't know how, I don't know why, but in certain places at the school, I can see and talk to her. And that's one thing that they still haven't evaluated. But one thing I do want to know, since Maddie, and I feel like it's because Maddie's not actually dead, maybe that's why, but I'm wondering, since Mr. Anderson is not actually dead, can he see and talk to Mr. Anderson? Now, something also interesting. I wonder if he could have talked to Maddie's mom, since the two of them are now friends, but they were never in a place where somebody died. 'Cause I don't think anybody died in the library. Interesting. So, yeah, they're trying to do that. Nicole and Xavier get left at this cabin with her. Nicole isn't a pussy. She tells Xavier about the whole online thing, basically accuses him of knowing it was her the whole time, which was like, what? She basically tries to play the song that he told her to listen to. Oh, do you know this song? And he's like, no. Like, no, never, I don't know the song, never heard it. Lying, obviously. And she's like, oh, yes it is. And they basically are arguing about it, fighting about it. And mind you, it's the two of them and Janet. And the whole time, Janet is like a rat in a cage. She's gonna gnaw her foot off so she can get out of here. She's trying to trick Xavier to take her ropes off, give me some water, trying to trick him basically. And then who shows up? Nicole's brother, of all people, shows up because basically Nicole's been gone since Friday. So I'm guessing it's only Saturday. So I guess she's been gone since Friday morning, and the mom hadn't seen her, and her mom is strict. So it's like, girl, where are you at? Which is why Simon and Claire left the two of them at the cabin, because if Nicole would have left and her mom would have saw her come home, she would have never let her out the room again, which we know from the first season as well. She's kind of mentioned that she's like very strict. But that just made me think, where everybody parent at? All of them have parents who don't really care about them. Clearly, Maddie's mom was an alcoholic, bad mom, spent her money on that stupid place that they're at right now. And her dad passed away. Xavier, I don't remember what happened to his mom, but his mom's not in the picture, and it's just his dad. His dad is the sheriff. So that's why he is always alone by himself. Claire, her stepdad, I don't know. We've never seen her stepdad. I don't remember him being on the show. And her mom and her are like at odds right now. They're not really talking like at all. I don't understand what's going on there. but Simon's mom. Oh, and Nicole's mom is a helicopter mom, which is why she can't go home. But they don't talk about her dad, but it doesn't really matter. But Simon's parents, they never talk about Simon's parents. I've never heard anything about Simon's parents, about his upbringing, about his family, nothing. He can be out all hours of the night. I don't even think we've ever been to his house in the show. So it's like, are you loved? Are you cared for? Do you need to talk to somebody? That's what it comes off to me. But yeah, the brother comes and he's like, girl, where you been? Like, what are y'all doing out here? Like, mom wants to know something, like, you need to come with me right now. And she's like, no. So basically they get him into the cabin and Maddie's there. So now they have to kind of explain to him why they're there. He won't, I don't want to say he won't take a hint, but it's like, sir, can you go anywhere else? Ain't you in college? Go make some friends. Go to class. Write a paper. I don't know. He needs to go somewhere. But they basically convince him to kind of just, chill out. We'll just wait here. Don't tell anybody that we're here. Whatever. And then he sees Claire pop the tire of Mr. Anderson, aka Mr. Martin, inside Mr. Anderson's body when they went out again to go get some alcohol. And he's like, what is happening? Always want to ask all these questions. When they're there, she's like, we need to leave immediately. I will tell you later. We need to leave right now. So she lets them know that this man is on his way to that cabin. Y'all need to leave now. Like we're on the way home. Go now. We'll meet you somewhere else. So they do finally convince Janet to come home, like to come with them to the school, because they convinced her they got proof that Dawn crossed over. And basically, something that Mr. Anderson told Maddie about her mom and how her mom was kind of like spiraling and all this kind of stuff, whatever, because Maddie's gone again, obviously, is that, sometimes the only way to get over something is to go through it. So her and the other ghosts, they kind of discovered that all of the hells that everybody has are connected. So she kind of found like this play in his book and basically connected. So she was able to put that stuff together that, okay, I need to go through all these hells. I need to go through it. Because it's like, it's terrifying to face your fear, basically what killed them. So a lot of them don't go there, the ones who have access to it now. They go through them, but Dawn's is different. Everybody's hell has this glowing red light. It just feels dark and dreary. It's evil in there. All the people who are in the dream they're demonic looking, obviously because they're demons and whatever. But Dawn's is a little bit different. There's no glowing red light. It just feels like, okay. There's like this nice music in the background because it was in the AV shop, so there's like records everywhere, but there's marigold flowers everywhere, like coming out of the walls. They're all over the floor. It looks nice. Like it looks like cool. Like it looks like groovy, groovy baby. It looks really, really nice in there. And then it just feels good. It doesn't feel as heavy. There's no glowing red lights. None of that. There's no one in there. There's no one in there either. But at the very, very end, Maddie finds this door. And she's like, what is this door? And she gets closer to the door. There is a light. But it's like a white light. And then she looks up and she moves the flowers out of the way. And there's an exit sign. And then the glowing gets brighter. So it's like so then she repeats it again. The only way out is through. So basically, Simon tells Janet that the proof is that, there's these flowers in there. And Janet's like, what kind of flowers are they? And she's like, flowers, like, what's that supposed to be? She's like, and he says they're marigolds. Luckily, Maddie knew what kind of flowers they were, right? Because imagine if she didn't. He would have never been able to tell her, and then Janet wouldn't have came and probably would have killed him and left him out there. So she tells him marigold, and that clicks for her because apparently Dawn mentioned marigolds like a lot at some point. Probably they were happy for her. Probably that's one of her favorite things. And because she's the only one to cross over, clearly that's like a sign for her. So that's what pretty much got her to go. But so her and Simon, they take a walk out to the back of the cabin. She asked for like a little break to herself, to just kind of get her stuff together because being alive in like a human body and being able to breathe just feels differently, and she wants to kind of do it one last time. So as they're waiting for her to complete that, the three of them, Nicole, Xavier, and Simon, are in the front yard waiting on her. We go back to Maddie, and she's kind of just out there, and she hears some footsteps coming behind her, so she turns around. Y'all, it's Mr. Martin. It's Mr. Martin, and he's like, I've been looking all over for you. And then the credits come on. I was like, OMG, how did y'all not see him come up here? That's what I want to understand. How y'all not see him? Y'all are bad. To be honest, I wouldn't have had her out there by herself. I don't care if you need some space. I'm going to just back up a little bit, but I'm finna be out here. I didn't understand that, but whatever. So, next week, we're going to see what's happening. I wonder what's going to happen with the mom. Because Maddie's gone, the mom has been looking for her like for 2 days now. Well, I'll say 2 days because they kidnapped her like after that meal. This girl went out back. She kidnapped or whatever. So, she was looking for her all day. She drunk and drunk and drunk, and they went to a bar and drunk some more. And now Mr. Anderson is like, now he's concerned because he is trying, because he can't do anything. And the two of them kind of became friends. So I'm interested to see what happens next week. Next week, I think we're going to find out that the kids lost Maddie because Mr. Martin is going to kidnap her and somehow get away before the kids find out. Which I don't understand how, because y'all are at the same place. And I think that they are going to, I feel like somebody's going to cross over next, but now I honestly don't know who it will be. I still think Charlie's going to cross over, but I feel like they're going to take another person through all the hells. Maybe. I feel like they need to talk to some more of these dead kids. Honestly, they need to go talk to somebody else. But I wonder if Mr. Martin is going to be able to talk to anybody else like Simon. I'm interested. So, let's go on to the next one. So, let's go ahead and jump into Found. So, Found, I wonder how many episodes they're going to get this season. Because I feel like last season they only got like 11. And right now they're on 13. So, good for them. I still think Christian is being set up. So, I am going to do a questions and expectations for Found. But, I changed a few of my questions, but I'll talk about that as I get to them. One of my expectations was that, about who Sir's accomplice could be. And I feel like Christian is an accomplice, but I don't think he knows he is. Christian is Sir's brother. Sir's in federal lockup. Like he up in there. And Christian is still being looked for, and he's texting Gabby throughout the day. Like throughout the day, he apparently broke into her house, and like put a picture of her in this room she has that is a room where she has like a wall, like how they have it. I mean, they have a wall whenever a person's found, they put the picture up. She has a wall in her house like that, but it's people who they did get to save, and someone broke into her house and a picture of her was in there on that wall, which is like, ooh, what's that supposed to mean? And they are concluding that it was Christian who broke in. They tested the fingerprints and it was him. However, I don't think that he is in it. I think he's being set up, which is like kind of like a part of his role as an accomplice. Like he doesn't realize like you were being used until we couldn't use you anymore, and soon they will not use him anymore. Apparently at the end of the episode he was killed. They found his body, but I don't know if that's the case because Gabby told that to Sir in jail. She's not gonna see him anymore. I don't know if she was telling the truth to him or not. I don't know. We'll have to see. And then, too, where is the woman who was shot? That's the girl that Trent was with. What happened to her? Because she was lying. I don't care what anybody says. She was lying. So, I think she's in on it, too. This kid, Jamie, nobody believes that kid is Jamie. Which is why, apparently, they hold meetings at Zeke's house because of that. Now, it's partially because they don't believe that it's him and they don't want to like act weird around him or him to get any more like intel about them, but also Margaret is trying to like give some space between her and her done with everybody else, and he's always asking like, where's everybody else, or what's going on, and he basically has already picked up that, are you telling them to like give us space and leave us alone, like what's that about? And she does admit that, but then she also tells Gabby basically like, that's another reason why I want you guys away, because she doesn't want any of them to use their powers on him to determine like whether or not that is the son, because she doesn't want to know if that's her son or not, which is what makes me think she does have some like reservations about that being her son. So don't know about that one. And basically there's a lot of flashbacks from when he first went missing, when she was, like right after that, where Margaret didn't have, the power that she has now, being able to be super observant, remember everything. She didn't have that then, and to the point where she felt very much like, obviously still to blame about why he got kidnapped and why they couldn't find him. But, she was able to use that guilt about that to being able to learn that. And Jamie says that he basically learned how to pick that stuff up too by how he was raised. So how were you raised? Then he makes another comment when Dom and Lacey are talking about the DNA test that they did on him. Apparently it came back inconclusive. TV shows love being inconclusive. What's wrong? Like, how is that? Apparently he took a sample off some food or whatever that he had. I guess that's why. And when they were talking about this, Jamie overheard and came up in there. Oh, y'all over here testing me? Y'all like came in just trying to blow the spot up like he was in the right. Sir, you're a stranger. I don't care. Like, I don't care. We love Margaret. We don't know who you are. We need to make sure about this or whatever. And he says, oh, the reason I don't have a freckle anymore on my arm is because I got it lasered off when I was 10. And I was like, but didn't you get kidnapped when you were 6? So who lasered it off? And there's no scar, nothing. It's perfect. Mind you, it's an actor. But it's like, it's perfect. So you telling me that somebody took you to a doctor to get that taken off? How did somebody take you to a doctor? So who were you raised by? Because it's kind of like, okay, and you were clearly taken care of. So it's like, okay, so were you kidnapped by a person who wanted a child? Is that what it is? And it's like, you were kidnapped at 6. So at what point did you know about Margaret? Like, at what point did you learn about Margaret to get with him? And then it's like, I have to go back in there and check to see how long it is, because he's still a minor. So it's like, where do they think that you are right now if they're supposed to be your parent? And it's like, and then it's like, if you didn't go to a doctor to get that removed, if they remove it for you, who were you raised by? And yet he still won't say anything about, how he was raised, who he was with, nothing like that. Even when Margaret Price, whatever, I'm annoyed by that. I still don't trust him. But I'm gonna bring something up later about that. Even about the Margaret vision. This boy goes to a crime scene with Margaret, Dom, and Lacey. Is Lacey there? I think it's just Margaret and Dom. And then apparently she told him wait in the car. He over there lurking around. The security guard has to come in, and the black detective lady is there, right? So when the security brings him in, and Margaret says, obviously it's my son, and the lady's like, who? She's like, Jamie. She's like, Jamie? Obviously she knows who that is. Like, she's like kind of like in shock, because mind you, nobody knows that Jamie is back. She hasn't reported it, anything like that, which I don't understand, because like, girl, what? And then also, this black lady, it's the first time she's doing this. She is over over Trent. She got a promotion in the middle of the first season. So she is over Trent. The fact that she knows now, is she going to report it? I don't know. She kind of is on their team a little bit. At times, doesn't always report things until something else happens or whatever. But that only made me want to know, does Trent know? I don't know. I don't recall them being in the room together or them mentioning him around Trent. So I don't think Trent knows yet. But this lady knows. So Trent's going to know soon enough. And basically, toward the end of the episode, right? What is her name? Gabby goes to the office. She sees Jamie taking a nap on the couch, and she is looking at him sweetly, I guess it's supposed to be. Didn't look very sweet to me. But then she grabs his big coat and is going to put it on him, but then something falls out of it, a brooch. And she's looking at the brooch like, and Margaret comes in and is like, what are you doing? Why are you going through her stuff? Da, 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 da. And she's like, well, first of all, I was about to put a coat over him. If you, whatever. And they talking like that boy ain't asleep right there. Love that. Talking about, I wasn't checking nothing. I was actually about to put this on him and this fell out. Where did he get this? He takes from the crime scene. So they woke him up. No, they didn't wake him up. And then so she checks the pocket. So then she says, here, check the pockets. Margaret checks it. What else does she find in the pocket? A toy train. She looks at it and is like, and they both like, what? And I believe she wakes him up and they ask like, did you take this from the crime scene? Like, why are you doing it? Like, what's wrong with you? And they're trying to piece together. They're like, I've seen this before. Where have I seen it before? Margaret flips to the pictures, finds it on one of the first ladies or whoever that is at the church. That's her pen. Boom, that's how they pieced together that she was at the crime scene and she didn't commit the crime, but she was at the scene and she knows more than what she told them originally. So, toward the end of the episode, we start getting some pieces connecting. So Margaret comes to Gabby again and lets her know, like, hey, I know I told you about not, like, don't tell me anything about, you know, my kid, the DNA. I don't want to know anything about that, but let me tell you this. When when this thing first happened, I was a wreck, I was always a mess, whatever. He had a toy train in his room. It was his favorite toy. I remember at the bus station, he was complaining about it and about him not taking it. Because when he was missing, it was at the house, I remember. And then 2 days after he went missing, the train went missing. And I, berated my girls. I, torrented them about it. And I never saw it again. But it showed up today. And mind you, we flashed to her at the house putting it back. His initials are carved into it. So she's like, I thought I was just, making things up just because of how I felt at the time. But that's one of the first things my Margaret vision kind of like clicked for her, was that train. So the first time she's seen it again was this train. So she was like, Gabby, whoever took Jamie knows me. There's someone close to me, because they were in my house days after that. So the fact that I haven't seen that train from 2 days after he passed to me been gone till today, whoever did this knows me and I want to know who it is. So now they are on the hunt for who this person is. It is close. And since we have seemingly closed the chapter with Gabby and the kidnapping and during all that, this is now our main focus. This ring of kidnapping, the kids kidnapping ring. And that is why I feel like this is going to be the next thing. Also, because he had that train, is this actually the real Jamie? Because how else would he have that train? Now, in my opinion, I feel like I still don't think that he is Jamie, but he could have been raised with Jamie. Tune in for my questions and expectations coming very soon about that. But I feel like this kid kidnapping ring is going to be the next big thing that they kind of go through, because mind you, in season 1 they had a case like toward the end of the season where a little black boy got kidnapped, and it was because the teenager who he was like in this like dad help group thing became friends with, and this teenager helped kidnap this kid with a ring. And then when he wanted to back out, it was a whole kidnapping ring situation, which triggered Zeke, because when he was kidnapped, it was with a kidnapping ring type situation. And mind you, they're using somebody who you trust to help lure you in, and then the network takes you. Happened with Zeke, with a family member. Happened with that black kid and this kid in his group. Happened to Jamie and somebody who is close enough to their family to have gotten into their home, taking that toy without anybody realizing. Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, tune in for that. But let's go to our last one. Y'all, this one right here, I wasn't sure about. Like, I had expectations. But you know what? Like, I had expectations. But the only thing I really had an expectation about was that it was, how can I say, like, because the show, it looked dark, but it was like drama action. They didn't mention anything about comedy or anything like that, or they would hint at a mystery, but it's like, I was like, I really don't like super dramatic and dark and broody and, you know, like really, I don't really like that. Like, I like stuff to be lighthearted. I like to laugh. And if I like a mystery, I still don't want it to make me feel like suspenseful. Like, I'm not really into like gangster shows or like drug dealing shows, stuff like that, because it's just kind of like, this is too heavy. It's too much dark stuff happening. I'm not on anybody's side. Like, I don't like it. But Paradise, y'all, Paradise, that is it. Okay, Paradise. Now, it is dramatic, but it's not super dark and broody. There's some action, I guess. I haven't really seen that much action just yet, but I can feel it coming. It's not comedic, like there's no comedy, but there's actors in here who it's just like, you know, you just can't help it. You're just, you know. But then there's also mystery, definitely mystery. And it's mystery in a way where it's like, I'm giving you a bunch of clues. Everything is connected. Everything is something that you need to remember, but you don't know what is too small or too big. There is no clue too small or too big. Even things that you don't realize that you need to know everything, which I really, really like. Now, it comes on Hulu. That's where I watch it. I don't know what it comes on normal TVs. If you still have normal TV, all power to you. Don't have it. Don't need to. Sterling K. Brown. Let's start with him. Okay? Fine. Powerful. Stern. Comical. You know, he is Agent Collins. He is very by the book. He follows the rules. He has a very good moral character. He's a very good man. He is married. He has a wife. She is a doctor, and she travels for work. They live in Washington, D.C. Or Virginia, wherever the White House is, because he is the president's right hand, like, guard. But his wife travels for work in Atlanta frequently. They have 2 children, a girl and a boy, Presley and James. And let me see. He is the first black man to lead the presidential detail. They said his dad is a pilot. He's a black pilot. I don't remember what his first was, but he is also a history maker. But his grandfather was a Tuskegee Airman. So his family is very much known for black male excellence throughout their things. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so he is basically our lead character. He is a protagonist, and he is the person we are following. We trust him. So far, he is definitely a trusted narrator. Even though he's not narrating, like, you can trust him as a character. I feel like it's only, like, I feel like depending on what the next episode is, I'll determine if I want to trust him some more or if I want to doubt him. But so far, so good. Like, he is a person who we believe him, we trust him, because there's a lot of people who are living double lives. Like, a lot of double agents in here, if you know what I mean. Next person is James Marsden. That is the guy who's playing the president. He's playing Cal Bragdon, president. He is funny. He can be serious. But he has just a lot of layers to him, you know? But I feel like I don't ever see him in movies or shows where he stays alive the whole time. I feel like whenever I see him in stuff and he's acting, it's like a flashback clip. In this, spoiler, he's dead, but it's, well, that's not a spoiler. He's dead, but it's like every time you see him acting, it's a flashback, obviously. I feel like the only thing I can vividly remember him being in, and he's alive the whole time, is Jury Duty. Is a show on Amazon Prime also, where it's basically like a hidden camera reality thing where they trick this one dude into thinking that he's on a real trial, but he's not. But that's the only thing I can remember him in, being alive the whole time. And he plays the president, and it kind of shows how he was basically picked to be in this position. He had no, commentary about it. He didn't have a choice. He had to do this. That this isn't the life that he really wanted, and he was just complacent. And then as soon as he decided to speak up, they shut him up. That's basically kind of what it seems like is happening. And yeah, and I feel like the only thing that he really had a choice in, even though it was suggested to him, he chose Agent Collins. He, like, that is his right-hand man. It wasn't until he basically somewhat tricked him, and I don't think that was his intention. I think he kind of had to go along with it, that it broke his trust with Collins. But at the end of the day, he said, if anything happens to me, Collins is the only person that I trust. In this entire place, this is the only person that I trust is him. If anybody can help you, it was him. If anybody to help solve this, it's him. And that is basically what is happening. The concept of this show is good, y'all. The concept of the show is good because I feel like it's a murder mystery, but it also kind of reminds me of Don't Look Up. But, like, that's the movie that was on Netflix. But instead of, like, okay, the world's about to end and all the billionaires, all the important people, they go into space or time travel to whenever the earth can be livable again. They go to an under cave new world. Like they basically made, like, they knew the end of the world was coming, so they made a new world for a select few to go to. And it's like, there is no random anybody in there. If you're in there because you're supposed to be in there. Even if you're like a kid of, like, even if you're just a kid, you're one or both of your parents are in there because they are a scientist, a super scientist, a technology person, political person, some kind of way. Everybody who's in there is supposed to be in there. So basically it's kind of like they all live in a cave because the world has been destroyed. Or has it? Excuse me. So basically, the president, is murdered. And apparently this is a big thing, not only just because he's the president, but because we learn basically that they're not in the regular world. They're in this bunker, this false world. So it's like, there are no killers down here. This is impossible. And then for it to be the president, no less, how is that possible? There's no way. There are no threats down here. To the point where the president always tries to get his agent to, like, slack off with him or drink with him or just, chill or whatever, because there really is no threat down there. But the one time that there was a threat, the right people were not on duty, were not paying attention, the cameras went down, all these things happened that shouldn't be happening, and the one time it matters. So I really don't want to give things away because I really want you to watch it on your own. Trust me when I say this. You need to watch it on your own because I feel like this is a thing where it can't, like, this is a show. Now, I personally am not a person who cares about stuff being ruined. Like, you can tell me the end of this, but it will still make me want to go watch it to see what happens in the middle, right? This is not like that at all. I cannot tell you. I think the most I can tell you, I feel like even me mentioning that they live in a cave is too much. The world ending is too much. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. There's a black woman. She's like a head of, what is she a head of? Like the Secret Service, I guess. She's like her Secret Service. She's having an affair with the president. They love to make the black woman have affairs with presidents, huh? Scandal. Doesn't sound right. Let me see. And it's like, can we trust her all the way? So far, like at first, no. Then, yes. Then, can we still trust her? Will we be able to continue to trust her? Everybody has information. So it's like, you need to at least gain it a little bit to get that information, to get that intel. And then after that, who knows if we can trust him or not after that. Billy Pace, he is another agent. He and Collins became friends after they moved into this place. Billy has been abused basically all his life. He went to jail as a child, and he has basically been trained to kill all his life and used to kill all his life. He has never been like given a chance to actually live and experience life. And the first time that he actually did see a glimpse of happiness, it was taken from him. And it's just like, that's not fair. And technically that was the second murder in this place. Now, people don't know it was a murder, but it was a murder. So, yeah. But going back to Sterling K. Brown, I noticed this in the second episode. It's like he don't really see his kids like that. And I feel like it's partly because they're in this place where nothing happens. So maybe that's why they don't have, like, he doesn't feel like the instinct to see them all the time. Also with his job, but it's like he only seems to see them in the morning. Like, his daughter basically takes most of the responsibility of doing stuff with the younger brother, packs the lunches, makes the breakfast for everybody, make sure everybody's getting where they're supposed to be going, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, stop putting that responsibility on not only just the oldest child, but the oldest daughter. Stop doing that. Raise your own kids. Because it's like, I had to experience all this stuff too. Like, my mom's not here too. Like, all this stuff happened to me too. And it's like, I have other stuff going on in my life that I don't need to just focus on this kid all the time. Where's my dad? I need my dad's support. That's something I feel like hopefully that kind of happens again. But hopefully nothing happens to her. I cannot tell y'all what happens. Okay? I cannot. Definitely go watch it because she knows something. But since her dad is never around, will he ever find out? Don't know. The pieces really start coming together in episode 3. What I like about this, even though you get bits of information all throughout, even as stuff starts to piece together, there's so much stuff happening. So stuff starts piecing together episode 3. You're like, okay, I'm trying to put some stuff together. But then, like, to me, the real bombshell happened for me in episode 5. I literally audibly gasped. And then I did it again. Like, it was good, y'all. Good. Episode 5. I don't even know why I wrote that down. I cannot tell you. Well, I'll say this. Anyway, Collins makes a scene in the execution. Okay, yeah. So he makes a scene, and once you watch some more episode 6, you'll kind of get what I mean by that. Collins makes a scene in the execution of his rebellion, of his rebellious team, entrapment plan, and forcing Sinatra's plan, like making her explain the plan. But at the very, very end, now I'm going to say this. I don't think this is a plot twist because this is me just asking a question. She says his wife is alive. Do I believe her? I'm watching it and I'm like, she's lying. She's lying. And I'll say this. I say she's lying. And I say she's lying because, not because she knows specifically if his wife is alive or not, but because she doesn't know for sure.
She just suspects, and she's trying to live. If you want to live, you're going to stay and do whatever you need to stay alive. And I don't believe her. I think that, I mean, it could be possible. Yeah, the possibility is there. However, I don't know if she knows specifically if his wife is alive. So that's all I can say, y'all, because I really don't want to ruin this one. This one you do have to watch on your own. So please go watch it on your own. I am going to do more thorough recaps of this one starting in next week's weekly watch list because I need to talk about it. This is one of my ones I need to talk about. So I have watched up to episode 6. These come on, I guess, on regular TV on Tuesdays, I believe, because it's available on Hulu at 5 o'clock on Wednesdays. So next one is the 25th, and they already have the next one for March 4th when it's available. So, yeah, y'all, Paradise is gonna be my new show. I can already tell. Sterling K. Brown, you too fine, love it. And I was watching Jessie Woo's podcast. Maybe it was like 3 weeks back or 2 weeks back, and she was talking about how she sent a tweet out about Sterling K. Brown and him being so fine, and I wonder if his wife can fight. And the wife went to her page and was like, "Oh my God, LOL, I don't know why everybody keep asking me if I can fight, but I mean, hashtag look if you buck, and girl, you better, okay? Keep them skills tight and right." But I think the casting choices for everybody is perfect. Like this show, and I'm kind of interested to wonder how many episodes they're going to get. Also, because if they get only 8 or 10, they have to do multiple seasons, right? But if they go up to the full 20, I honestly feel like they can thoroughly tell the story and complete it in that time frame. And as much as I would hate for it to be over, I don't know what another season would go through if they do go up to the 20, complete the story. What else would be the story? Like, how else would you continue it? Like, how would you continue it? Maybe if it gets to like the halfway point and they do that, I may be able to give a questions and expectations about it to see like what can happen next. But right now, I don't see how they would go into a season 2. Like, what would it be about? You know what I mean? Yeah, so alright guys, so that is all I have for this episode of the weekly watch list. Not that much this week, but something very, very good, y'all. I'm telling you. Watch Paradise. And you know what? Watch the Clean Slate too. Like I said, it was not a bad show. And tell me if I'm tripping about, how Laverne Cox's character was. Like, girl, you doing too much. But Paradise, they doing just the right amount. They giving you the punches when you need it. And I cannot wait for more. So we're going to get more in depth with that next week. And let me know if there's anything else I need to add to my watch list. Because I feel like a lot of my regulars are starting to go away. I finished Bob Hart's Abishola. Abbott Elementary should come back next week. 911 isn't on anymore. Found we got coming on. But I want to, watch some more stuff. So don't forget to comment down below about what I watched this week. Are you watching those shows too? Like I said, this is a discussion. I need to talk about it with somebody. We need a back and forth. Let me know what I can add to my watch list. And let me know just what you thought about the channel, the series, all that good stuff. Don't forget to follow me on my social media platforms. They'll be down below as well as on the screen. And don't forget to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell an enemy, to tell a stranger to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I'm not going to ramble this time. You almost got me. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys bye now. Bye!
Look back while I turn. No comparison.
I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Acting stupid, what was happening? What was happening?